Welcome back to the ASUS ROG DreamLeague live here in the Monster Energy DreamHack studios. And I think there's a lot to say about the game we just saw. But it's really difficult to narrow down what exactly went wrong or right for the teams. I'm just, for Clovers and a Leprecon, Slasher, why didn't they win?
Well, I would like to talk about the items mostly, and also the pick. I don't really get why they picked Treant. I think that was their third pick, and they picked against the Darkseer. And the Treant shield, it just gets completely removed by Darkseer's Iron Shield. So I don't think Treant did much this game. It's mainly useful for just protecting your base. And when he got a Garnims and Refresher, then he was kind of decent. But I think his impact on this game was extremely low.
There were a couple more heroes whose impact wasn't exactly as expected. On the side of Yellow Submarine, we had Nyx Assassin, who died 20 times.
It wasn't great, but in fairness to him, they did get a lot of pickoffs with how do I say his name? Miposhka? Ember Spirit? Yeah, I honestly think he played really, really well on Ember Spirit, and he always he got so many double sleight of fists, and with the chains, and he caught out so many people because of the Darkseer, allowed him to constantly catch
I was really surprised though that Miposhka didn't go for Battle Fury.
Yeah, when I saw their draft initially, I was like, they have Darkseer and Ember Spirit. This is going to be sick.
We talked about the one-wall combo. You got Vacuum into Earthspike, into Impale, into the Cleave, the Battle Fury.
Exactly. I was like,
into Requiem of Souls. Everybody dies.
It just made perfect sense, and then he just decided to go really, really defensive with his item build.
I think it's fine to get Linkens first. But then afterwards, then he went BKB. Well, okay, fine. But then get a damage item. But then he got Manta instead. And I was like, you got 3 defensive items. Do you really need?
Yeah, I know.
And I would say, well, just get a Linkens or just get a BKB and then start working towards a Battle Fury and then maybe a crit. And he would just wreck a lot.
Apart from his item choices, I actually think he played very, very well. His Ember Spirit play was pretty on point. Even the point where he was on 10 HP in the base. Do you remember when they were paused?
Yeah. When he was disconnected?
Oh, that has to be heartbreaking.
Yeah, that fight could have gone very different. We could have ended the game maybe there even. You know, if things were different, who knows?
That's true.
I actually was also surprised that Razor went for a very defensive build also. Again, no, at the start of the game you mentioned, Razor's going to go Aghanims Refresher. None of that. He went something like Assault Cuirass, BKB, the first 2 items. Very defensive as well. Agree with that? Disagree?
Yeah, I think for Clovers, their biggest problem was that they couldn't really push. And they needed a Garnims and Refresher, I would say, on Razor quite early to just be able to break the base. But right now, even if they killed most of the team, it was really hard for them to actually push. And if Ember could just buy back, then they can just defend. So they did manage to get, I think, 4 Raxes and almost got the throne. But the pushing power, it was just so weak. And the Treant doesn't really help at all. Pushing it dead. And Zeus,
he needs the moon shards.
Well, they had such good pickoff. It was kind of crazy. They'd blow supports up instantly with the Dagons and the Zeus.
So next game, what needs to change?
I think if Yellow Submarine, if they go Darkseer, then for Clover, I don't think they should take Treant. And I would be surprised if they take Treant again.
Do you think the Shadow Fiend was a big deal? Because the Shadow Fiend actually, for Yellow Submarines, there's not a lot of games on record, but the games that they do have on record, every single game, they first pick Shadow Fiend. Sometimes in combination with Lion, sometimes with Darkseer.
Yeah, he was definitely the pillar of the team. Even when they were doing quite bad at the start, he had the highest net worth or second to Sexy Bambo only for a little bit.
Yeah.
And even in the very early team fights middle, he would always get the kills and always he was so tanky as well. I actually think he had a huge impact in the game because of the way Bloodseeker was played. He'd always rupture him, but because he was so beefy and he had Satanic and stuff late game, he didn't actually care.
Oh, that's Satanic. I remember the fight around mid. There was a fight around the Roche pit, rather, and that lasted ages. And he could use 3 Satanic charges, however you want to call them, usages, in the same fight, and he just kept being alive. He was like the pillar. Everybody came back to fight. And he just
stay near me, little children. Yes. I'll protect you.
Yeah. SF is just a great all-around hero because it's so hard to actually snowball against the SF because if he just gets a few levels, he He can help so much in the team fight.
Yeah.
And late game, he's not one of the best late game heroes, but he can be pretty good. And against this lineup, he was probably the strongest late gamer, I would say. I think Bloodseeker, he decided to go Dagon after BKB and Sangan Yasha. And
Dagon Gaming.
I love Dagon and Bloodseeker, don't get me wrong, but I would say maybe get Abyssal. Like either you go Dagon Gaming and you go full on Dagon Gaming, or you go as a carry Bloodseeker, and then afterwards, after BKB and Sangan Yasha, you perhaps get Abyssal and just go full like carry mode. You just go for the SF, just stun him and
yeah.
Well, for now, everybody apart from Shane already has their predictions wrong, by the way.
No problem.
Shane was the one that said 2-0 for Yellow Submarine. So far, it's 1-0 for Yellow Submarine. Well, I still want to say that 4 Clovers and a Leprecon can take it, so I'm going to make my vote just 2-1. And I mean, obviously I was still wrong, but I'm still thinking they can take it.
Okay.
After seeing the game, do you still think that Yellow Submarine is going to take this game too, Shane?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. Is 4 Clovers and a Leprecon, are they still going to win 2 games in a row?
I think it might actually be pretty close.
No, you can't see the draft.
Yeah.
I can't look at the draft, or what?
No, you can't.
Oh, okay.
You have to ignore it.
Okay, yeah, Yellow Submarine, they will lose this game. And then they will lose the next one as well.
Okay, well, we're going to find out because it is time for the second game. The draft is already on the way too, so we are going to Odie, Pixel, and Draskell.